Hello, I'm Graham and I hope everyone's having a great day. Please excuse the cold. I seem to be suffering cold from November through to March these days, but I've got to continue. It's been a while since I've updated you with any information regarding the flash units that are available for the Panasonic and Olympus range of cameras. So I'm looking at the CSCs and the bridge camera range of cameras from Panasonic. There's also been some changes to the way the camera hot shoe configuration works. With the later CSCs, so that's going to be the G8, the G8085 and possibly the G9 now, there is an extra contact placed in the hot shoe. Now traditionally there has just been 3 contacts on Panasonic cameras. One provides the flash ready signal and the other 2 provide the data communication for the camera to the flash units. Then we have the central firing pin and of course the ground of the hot shoe itself. Now with the later cameras there's another pin there which gives 5-volt power to new flash units that are coming out for the cameras now that don't have built-in flash units. So the CSCs don't have a pop-up flash unit, which is used to either give you fill-in flash or act as a master controller for a number of slave units. Now, because of that situation with that extra pin on there, it's given us a problem trying to find compatible flash units. Now, traditionally, you'd be using something like the Panasonic or Olympus FL360 or FL36, and that will work. But if you wanted to find a small unit to work with this range of cameras, you'd have to use the Panasonic flash unit, which comes with the LX100. I'll put a link to that in the video description below for the actual type number. But that appears to be quite difficult to buy as an individual item. But there's an alternative and it's in the form of an Olympus push-on flash unit. Now this one, the FL-LM3, is designed for the OMD M5 and then M1 Mark II versions. It is 5-volt powered and that's provided from the little gold contact on the new cameras through to the gold contact on the hot shoe here. So it provides us with an on-camera flash which we can use for fill-in flash or more importantly to wirelessly optical trigger some external slave units. So we'll be looking at that in a later video of how to set up these cameras in the optical slave mode and be able to set up some remote units in the TTL if you've got TTL compatible flash units or just in the manual mode with slave capabilities S1 or S2. So we'll be looking at that in a short time in a later video. But for the moment I just wanted to show you this Olympus unit. To enable you to use it on the Panasonic cameras, you have to modify it. These are about £70, I think, on the UK Amazon site. So they're not cheap, and there is a cheaper alternative, which I'm going to show you in a moment. But if you wanted a nice compact flash unit, if you only use flash occasionally and just needed a small pop-up flash for your camera, then this is an ideal solution, providing you file away the front face of the lip of the hot shoe on the Olympus model. The Olympus one has about a 1.5mm plastic lip on the front of the unit, which prevents it from fully seating on the Panasonic cameras. But if you carefully file that face away, you'll find that you can push this onto the camera. So with the FL-LM3 Olympus flash and the modification to file away the front face of the unit, you'll find that you can fully insert the flash unit into the hot shoe of the camera. The camera now knows that you've got a flash unit attached and the flash will be enabled, and again you've got it in TTL mode, so you notice we've got TTL control of the flash unit and that can control other flash groups in the same channel or on 3 separate groups. So you've got full control now of external units with the Olympus flash if you modify it to fit on the Panasonic camera. Now with the bridge camera range, the FZ200 has been a particularly difficult camera to find compatible units for. My go-to flash unit has always been the Nissan i40. It's quite an expensive flash, it's about £150 now in the UK, but it does give you full flash compatibility with the FZ200. It's both swivel and bound, so you've got control, TTL or auto, or you can use it as a video light. It's quite a versatile unit, but quite expensive if you're not using flash that often with your FZ200. There are other units which claim to be Panasonic or Olympus compatible, like this Meike MK320. It says on the bottom Panasonic, so you attach it to your FZ200, turn on the flash unit, turn on the camera, it looks as though it's communicating because it's showing me the aperture, and if I change the aperture, the apertures are changing on the back of the flash unit, showing me in TTL mode, but if I take a picture, the flash fires at full power. If you can probably see on the screen, everything is burned out, so it's not TTL compatible. You can still use it in the manual mode, so you can use this for on-camera manual flash if you wanted to. You can use it as a trigger for other optical units, but in terms of an on-camera TTL flash, it's a no-go. That's why I've been recommended the Nissan i40. The Olympus flash, the FL360 or the FL36, it's fully compatible, but these are getting very difficult to acquire on the second-hand market. You've got to buy the new later FL360. It's got a built-in light, it's got some extra features, but again, quite an expensive flash unit. But now coming to market is a company called Godox. Now they're a Chinese manufacturer. Some of the original products were a little bit questionable in terms of quality, but the later kit is really well made. I've got two of their studio flashes, the AD600 and the AD200, and they're superb units. But they've now got a range of compatible flash units for all the major brands of camera, so the Olympus, Panasonic, Nikon, Sony, Canon and Fuji. So there is a compatible flash for all of those cameras. Now this one has both the bounce and swivel capabilities. You've got a wide angle panel which you can swing down to give you the full wide angle coverage for your 24mm position. If you're using it in the bounce mode, you've got a catch light panel, so that reflects back and gives you that specular reflection in your subject's eye, which is always nice. Got a guide number of 36 with ISO 100 with the flash fully extended to 105mm. So when you're back at the 24mm position, that guide number drops to about 25, but nevertheless it's still quite a nice unit. It's more powerful than the pop-up flash on your bridge cameras anyway. But it is fully TTL compatible, so if I put that on the FZ200, and lock that down, you turn it on by just holding the power button for 2 seconds and it comes on. I've got the recording, stop recording. Got the camera set in the TTL mode, so if I take that same shot again, you notice we're under TTL control, and you can see on the back of the camera we've got perfect exposure. So with the TT350O across all the range of the bridge cameras, this flash unit will work. You can use it in the bounce, your swivel mode, to give you that creative lighting that you might want with your flash photography. So that unit is now fully compatible with the FZ200, and its features are, it's got an inbuilt radio transmitter on 2.4 gigahertz. So this is not an optical transmitter, it's a wireless transmitter, so it gives you that extra benefit of a longer range, and you don't have to have the units in line of sight of the master commander, which is a great benefit if you've got a studio setup and you don't want to be walking around. You can change all the settings from the master unit and the slave units will follow. Now at the moment there is only a flash unit which is dedicated to the Olympus Panasonic range. There isn't a receiver which you can get for the Canon and Nikon range of cameras, but I'm sure they are going to develop the receiver for these, which enables you to use non-TTL guns on these units and use them in a TTL mode remotely off camera, where at the moment for those we need to use an extension cord. We can't use them in the TTL off camera mode at the moment. With the 360 you probably can because of the wireless flash capability, but the old FL36 you can't use that off camera TTL. So this flash unit, the TT350O, can be an on-camera pop-up flash. It can act as a fill source, it can act as a TTL master, it can act as a TTL slave. So if you had this mounted on camera, set this up in the master mode, you can have another TT350O off camera in the slave mode, and it will communicate wirelessly. Or if you wanted to, you could communicate optically. It's both got the S1 and S2 optical slave modes, but ideally you'll be using the wireless mode, because then you can set up your one channel and you've got 3 groups. You can choose from 16 channels and 3 groups for however you want to set up your flash equipment. So the 3 groups, you could have your master flash for your main light on group A, you could have your fill light on group B, and you could have a hair light on group C, and control them all from the back of the flash unit without having to go to your independent flash units to set them up. So that gives you a great advantage in the studio, much as you can with the Yongnuo 635 optical master controller. You can set all the Yongnuo flashes up by optical triggering, but this does it by radio control, so it's far more beneficial for you. With the TT350O, the fact that you can use this as a master radio transmitter means that if you purchase one unit as a master unit and another unit which can be your slave unit, you've got a master and slave which will communicate over wireless communication. Gives you benefits over optical transmission because you don't need to be in line of sight. So your slave unit, if you're using it as a kicker light or as a hair light and it's not actually in optical line of sight, then it will still work because you're using radio transmission. The flash units are just £60 each, so you can get 2 TT350Os for the price of one Nissan i40 and have a little bit more functionality in the fact that you've got wireless communication rather than the optical communication that the Nissan i40 uses. So the TT350O ticks all the boxes for both Panasonic and Olympus cameras. In a later video we're looking more at the setup with the TT350O and the transmitter, the TT-X1TO, which gives us that remote control from the camera to our flash in the slave mode. But again, I'm going to use those in a separate video because there's quite a bit of information I need to get across. So there we are, there's some updates to Panasonic CSCs and the way they've now incorporated the 5-volt pin to provide power for those little pop-up flashes, and some equipment you can now get to give you full compatibility with all the range of bridge cameras, so you're not messing around with different flash units. Say in the UK, this flash unit, it's an incredible just £60 for all that functionality of wireless, optical, bounce flash, zoom, everything built into this unit for £60. So I think that's a real fantastic bargain. I've got a full review of this on my photographic blog and I'm going to put a link to that in the video description below. Now if you are a new viewer to the channel, please do subscribe. It does help with the way that YouTube are working at the moment, trying to weed out the channels that don't have many views. So please do subscribe if you're a new viewer. Have a look at my photographic blog, and if you look at that you'll see there's an application there to get the fortnightly newsletter. More than a newsletter, it's almost a technical publication in itself, which is just as a way of saying thank you for subscribing, and it gives you a lot more technical information than appears in that photographic blog as well. So until the next video, please do check out the blog. I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.